While gambling is a recreational activity that does not present harm to most people, there are some individuals for whom gambling interferes with their ability to live productive lives. Jennifer Cruz with the Florida Council on Compulsive Gambling has joined me to share her thoughts and resources. Welcome, Jennifer. And apparently, how does this happen to someone? What are the factors that kind of take us from maybe we buy an occasional lottery ticket to something more serious?
Right. Well, thanks for having me. For the majority of the adult population, gambling is a recreational activity.
Right.
It's a form of entertainment. It's a social activity. For the older adult community, it can be an activity that is coming at a time in their lives where there's a lot of change.
Sure.
Right? They're retiring. They've had a long career that has recently ended, or the death of a loved one. They might have moved to a new area. So they turn to gambling where they may have never gambled before, now all of a sudden to escape. Right, to fill that
some
time.
Sort of, fill that void of what, their full-time employment, their spouse, their other situation.
Right.
So that's what they turn to.
Right, that can be a form of social interaction for them.
Ah, I see. So maybe, maybe we have a loved one. Maybe it is the person watching right now. What are some of the warning signs to really look for?
So problem gambling happens on a continuum. It's a progressive disorder that without intervention or treatment gets worse over time and not better. For the majority of people who gamble, they stay in that recreational gambling realm, okay? It's not causing problems in their lives. For family members, loved ones, and others, things they can look for is when the gambler starts lying, or when the individual starts lying about their gambling, when they are chasing losses, when they're spending money that's not discretionary money to spend on recreation. That's the money that they need to pay their bills with, to purchase medications with. There's a preoccupation with gambling. They can't think about anything else. Oftentimes, it perpetuates for many, many years undetected. Gambling disorder is known as the hidden addiction. So there are no telltale signs that someone is suffering from a gambling disorder.
Sure, we can talk about drug addictions or, alcohol addictions, but you're right. Gambling is something that, you may not perceive as really being that serious.
Not only that, but there's no symptoms. There's no outward physical symptoms. So with someone who's addicted to a substance, there's slurring of speech. With a problem gambler, you don't look at someone and say, oh, she has dice eyes, or he has roulette breath, or card marks on the arms, right?
Yeah,
absolutely. There's also no saturation point. So someone can sit and literally gamble away $1 million and be still sitting there right in front of you.
Oh, sure.
With an alcoholic or a drug addict, they can't ingest the same level of that substance or chemical and not have physical effects. So it can continue for a very long time undetected.
So this is something, you've just mentioned it, it's something we don't think about, that it does affect, their health situation. They won't have the money for a medication that they've lost in this gambling situation.
Right, so not only the known links to health problems that are attributable to gambling disorders, such as heart conditions, liver and lung problems, sleep issues. There's also the lack of ability to pay, to have funds to get health care.
Right.
Right? And a lot of times with seniors, they will go to great lengths to conceal their gambling behaviors because they don't want any additional loss of independence. So they don't want that adult child coming in and saying, oh, we're going to take control of the finances.
Oh, sure.
Because mom or dad can't control their gambling.
That's the last thing they want to happen. So you actually have what is a helpline for whether it's someone going through this themselves or maybe it's with a family member. So how does that work?
Right, and for family members, oftentimes the impacts are as severe, if not more severe, than for the gambler themselves. So we operate a 24-hour helpline for problem gamblers, for loved ones, anyone adversely affected. And there is help and hope available at any time of the day or night. We actually have a free treatment available for gamblers and for loved ones, because sometimes that problem gambler may not be willing to get help or stop their behavior. So the family member can get help and can do things to improve their life, their quality of living, independent of the gambler's willingness to do so.
That's terrific. Jennifer, thank you so much for sharing your thoughts on managing gambling and the Florida Council of Compulsive Gambling Resources. Thanks again.
Thank you.